I know my own health, and I know that being pregnant in my condition is a serious issue. And I knew that this pregnancy would make me even seriously ill or possibly even kill me. I was terrified at the prospect of what this pregnancy might mean, of dying and leaving my 2 sons orphaned. But I also knew what the law says in Ireland, so I knew that I might have very few options. As soon as I discovered I was pregnant, I knew what was right for me, my life, my health, and my 2 sons. I knew that to continue this pregnancy, it would be too risky. And as much as I would have wanted to continue if it was safe to do so, I knew it wasn't. Because of this, I emailed the Abortion Support Network in the UK, explaining my situation, asking for advice. I explained what I thought I'd likely have to travel to the UK to have an abortion. And when I went to my GP straight after this, I asked would it be safe to carry on with the pregnancy, and he told me that he couldn't answer that. So he referred me to St. Vincent's respiratory team. He passed on my questions about whether or not it would be safe, and if not, could I have a termination here in Ireland. This was when I started doing more research into pulmonary hypertension and pregnancy. I can't explain the fear that I felt when I saw the words mortality, high risk, heart failure. Everything I read confirmed my worst fears.
Unless there is, by a consensus of opinion, a real and substantial risk to the actual life of a woman, we cannot perform a termination in Ireland. That in this particular case illustrates it perfectly, because in this case the doctors were not allowed to perform a termination to preserve the health of the patient. And there is a very big difference between performing a termination to preserve the life and performing a termination to preserve the health.
Cora, you're marking an anniversary of sorts today.
That's right, we're marking the anniversary today of 50 years since the Abortion Act came into force in England and Wales. And at the time, people were told that it would be restrictive abortion that was coming in, but they very quickly found that there is no such thing as restrictive abortion. And today in England and Wales, 1 in 5 babies lose their lives to abortion. And what we're saying is that the only way to stop similar rates happening in Ireland is to vote no on the 25th of May.
Cora, some people have, I suppose, cast questions over your figure, how you reach the 1 in 5. They say it's a much lower rate. How do you get to that figure?
There is no doubt about these figures. These are official figures that have come from the Central Statistics Office in the UK, and they are really shocking. I can understand why people don't believe them, but they are the reality of what happens when you introduce abortion into a country and when you say that babies' lives can be ended. What we're proposing in this country, what the Minister is proposing, is that we would introduce abortion on demand up to 3 months at a point when a baby has a face. That's actually more extreme than what happens in England and Wales, where that terrible figure of 1 in 5 exists. So we're asking people to say no to that and to say no on the 25th of May.